Alright, welcome back everybody out there in YouTube land. It's a dismal day today. It kind of feels like Seattle outside. What better day to rank a grunge band? And this far along in the series, I'm going to just always be saying, I don't know what took me so long to get to this band. I'm going to be saying that for the next 20 bands, because Soundgarden are one of my favorites. They might be the mightiest grunge band. Even though they're not very grunge, but all the ones that sold the most records weren't really that grunge anyway. But I love Soundgarden. Rest in peace to brother Chris, one of the mightiest vocalists of all time, rather. Other than Robert Plant, I can't really think of someone with such immense power in their voice. I love his vocals. I love the band's technicalities. They were so talented how they had kind of melodic meeting heavy Black Sabbath riffs and weird time signatures all over the place. So we're going to be ranking the 6 full lengths. They have quite a concise discography, plus 2 of the EPs that predate even the debut album. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to jump right into number 8, which is going to be Fop. The Fop EP, which was a little more experimental than Screaming Life, and I gotta say, when I first heard it, I didn't really get it, but it grew on me, and I actually quite like it. But yeah, it's a little more experimental. Screaming Life is a little bit more to the point, and Screaming Life kind of represents more of where the band would kind of go to after, with their full lengths and into their success and all that. But yeah, number 8 is going to be Fop. Would love to have a copy. I really want to get the LP that marries Screaming Life and Fop together. I think that's the best way to have them. Number 7 is going to be Screaming Life, that I was just talking about. And all the material on there is really good, really energetic. But Hunted Down, that one I hate to be cliche, but that one's my favorite. I love that. That's probably one of my all-time favorite Soundgarden songs, period. And when they finally reformed in, was it about 2010, 2011? And they started playing on TV, and a couple singles came out, like Live to Rise and Black Rain, and then eventually a new album came out that didn't feature those songs. Hunted Down, they played on Conan or Letterman or something, and man, I was so happy. It's wow, they didn't forget their roots. So yeah, really everything on the EP is good though, but it's just that song. I mean, if I was doing my top 10 Soundgarden songs, that would be on there. Number 6 is going to be Louder Than Love. And a lot of people are going to get really mad at me for ranking this, lower than the Reunion album. I really like this album, but I think that Hands All Over, not to be cliche again, but Hands All Over and Loud Love are the 5 out of 5. I mean, that even seems too low. They're such powerhouses and great riffs and everything. Those 2 are the standouts for me. Really, everything on here is good. This is still back when Yamamoto played bass. Before I filmed this, I'm I'm not gonna screw up his last name. Proceeds to screw up his last name. Hiro Yamamoto played bass for them back then. And yeah, this is right before the big breakthrough. And, Badmotorfinger, I love. It's a lot of people's favorites, but Loud Love and Hands All Over, to me, those 2 tracks probably outshine, pun intended, the Badmotorfinger, all of it. But, if I'm being honest though, I don't find this one quite as consistent. And anyone that's watched the channel before knows that consistency for me really factors in. So put that one down there. Number 5 is going to be King Animal. And that's going to be way too high for some people. And but when this came out, in 2012, this was one of my most listened to. It was definitely my second most listened to album. I really got down with this one, which is kind of funny because when Been Away Too Long was put out as the single, I thought it was so average and was so disappointed, and I liked Live to Rise and Black Rain, which were non-album singles before this, but Been Away Too Long so disappointed me, and I thought the production was bad, and then, like so many songs, it just, every time I listened to it, I liked it more, and then, by the time the album came out, I loved Been Away Too Long, and, the other, By Crooked Steps is amazing. This probably would have ranked even one higher if I was doing this video back in like 2012 or whatever. But, it's found its place in the discography. And, I know a lot of people don't like this one quite as much. That's always going to happen when nostalgics come back. The only song I don't really like off here is Halfway There. I feel like it sounds like a lesser Chris Cornell solo song. It doesn't really sound like it fits on here or fits the band. And I don't find the lyrics in that one very interesting. But, yeah, I don't know why in 2012 I opted for the CD, but it goes with the collection, I guess. Yeah, but other than the Animal Collective out that year, this was my most listened to thing in 2012, and yeah, got me through some times, I can tell you that much. Oh, gotta bring out the records for this one. I don't have a CD copy of this, but number 4 is going to be the Ultra Mega OK, which was the debut. And, I don't know, to me that cover is alone kind of iconic. This to me is just great, metal meets, kind of Led Zeppelin wailing from Chris, and, yeah, they're definitely not grunge. They're doing their own thing. Their cover of Smokestack Lightning is definitely a huge highlight, as is Incessant Mace, which is an incredible song. This, for a while, was like my most listened to Soundgarden album. It might have been my favorite at a time, even more than like Superunknown or Badmotorfinger. But yeah, I really like this one. I find it way more consistent than Loud Love. A lot of people will disagree with that, but yeah, I really like this one and always have. And kind of sticks out though, because I have every other one on CD, but not this one. So unfortunately, that's how I used to collect. Like, there was no consistency. So I'll put that down there. Number 3 is Badmotorfinger, and this is a lot of people's all-time favorite. And really, like, I actually was kind of like, do I put this at number 3 or Ultra Mega OK? Because that was kind of a personal favorite of mine, even more than this. And I didn't do this just to, please the audience, because music is subjective, and, I always get some comments that are like, really, you'd place that before that? But, like, but yeah, listening to this the other night, I thought, okay, yeah, this is number 3. It's so consistent. Outshined is one of my favorite Soundgarden songs. I can't imagine, like, I was alive when this came out, but I was way too young. I was like 3 or 4, and yeah, a lot of people are gonna say, well, I was listening to music when I was 4. Well, I wasn't really listening to music, like real music, till I was like 9 or 10, so I had to make up for lost time, I guess. But yeah, I can't imagine being like a teenager when this came out, or seeing the band live when this came out. It's just so down and dirty, well produced, so technical, and really kind of signifies a shift between the 80s releases and then what was to come, and more kind of, song-oriented, you got Beatles kind of influence and all this other stuff coming in on Superunknown, and this is way more kind of down and dirty. Yeah, Outshined is definitely my favorite. Room 1,000 Years Wide, Rusty Cage, what an intro, holy man. Jesus Christ Pose, of course. And then number 2 is going to be Down on the Upside, and a lot of people thought they kind of betrayed their metal roots and that, and it's definitely, this is alternative rock now, and it came out when post-grunge was a thing, not grunge anymore by 96. And this one, kind of like Ultra Mega OK, was a favorite of mine for a long, long, long time. For maybe a decade, it was maybe my favorite Soundgarden record. And, Pretty Noose is one of my favorite intro tracks in anyone's discography ever. I love that one so much. The singles Blow Up the Outside World is great. Pretty Noose was a single too, and they played it on SNL back in the day. Burden in My Hand was a single. All the singles are great. Rhinosaur is really cool. And I love the kind of more experimental latter half, like Never the Machine Forever is awesome. Tighter and Tighter. No Attention's kind of a blast of energy. Overfloater, Switch Opens. They were doing some really crazy stuff. I think they were kind of like wondering where they should take this, and it would have been really interesting to see if they actually kept making records in the late 90s instead of, essentially breaking up and coming back years and years later, like 16 years later. But yeah, I've always liked this one a lot. I think the one he's singing about his dog is probably the only low light on it. I never really cared for that one, but every other track I love off that one. And then number 1, Superunknown. Eventually in my life I had to come to terms with, this is the best. It's funny, when I saw them live, this still wasn't my favorite one. It was kind of one of my lesser favorites, which is so weird to say. And they played so much off this because King Animal wasn't out yet, and it seemed like half the set list was Superunknown. But still, even at the time, I realized how lucky I was to see them. And now, like, they're one of the bands that I'm most grateful I got to see. Because, they didn't last too much longer than that. I think we saw them in 2011 or 2010, maybe. Anyway, we were supposed to see Queens of the Stone Age, Mars Volta, and these guys, but Mars Volta, something happened, they didn't show up. They got stopped at the border, some weird stuff like that. Let Me Drown, great intro. My Wave, love the full-length version that just keeps on going and going at the end. I love that. Fell on Black Days. Mailman is great. Superunknown, one of the best title tracks of all time. I love how it just keeps building and building and building, and he, I almost did my Chris Cornell impression, but then everyone would, plug their ears. But I love how his voice builds, and Head Down too. I don't know if they played that one live much, but that one just kind of builds and builds. Black Hole Sun, as overplayed as it is, it still remains one of the coolest singles of the 90s, I swear. Spoonman, when Spoonman's probably your least good single, in this guy's opinion, you have, like, one of the most classic albums of all time. And it's funny to hear, like, the spoons and everything in that one. Day I Tried to Live, wow. 4th of July, one of the best ever. Like Suicide, one of the best. And even Half, which sounds like kind of a piss take, is really cool and experimental and weird. And there aren't many lyrics, but the lyrics are kind of interesting on that one. I gotta say though, the only kind of blemish is Kickstand. I don't really get the point of that one, and obviously I don't skip it when I'm listening like this. But if I'm on like Spotify, I might skip it because I'm not huge into that one. But and there's the LP, of course, and the big gatefold. Look Away If You're Afraid of Spiders. Yeah. Awesome record. One of the classics, man. One of the classics. So, yeah, feel free to rank your favorite Soundgarden records, or your ranking of Soundgarden records in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll do another grunge band soon, and we'll have a couple more videos soon. So thanks so much, and hopefully your day is a little better weather-wise than mine, but, having said that, peace out, take care everyone, and thanks again so much for watching the video.